Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing?
Hey, we're
Welcome to Trans Gurus. We are here again, and we are again, four of us. Everybody's here. It's so nice. It's so nice to be here. So, we were thinking about this today's of a very important topic for us. It's called choosing our reality. And by that, we mean, our thoughts, um, our mindset, and our self-awareness. So this is our talk for today. Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
thanks.
All right. So
Your
hey,
turn.
hey everyone. Hi,
Hey,
hi girls. Good to see you all again. So tonight we're going to talk about choosing our reality. And people think like, what? How can we choose our reality? It is what it is. It only is what it is if we believe it is what it is. I think 90% of our life on this planet revolves around perception. And we are, believe it or not, we are the architects of our own life. We are the designers. We are like you can put it like a blank book, and we're the ones with the ink pen writing our story. And uh, I was reading something earlier today where um, people moving from one location to another to increase their chances of getting a job or whatever. And the bottom line was survivors will survive regardless of the environment.
mhm.
So be the person that uh, again, this is Dr. Bobby's phrase, and it's turning into one of my favorite. Live our
Oh,
life in such a way that success is inevitable, and not. And another saying that's kind of similar to that is not in time, place, or circumstance, but in the person lies success. So we are the architects of our own life. We are the co-creators of our own life, and through our thoughts. And we were touching on this last week when we were talking about assumptions. Our thoughts have vibrational frequency. And think of our body as like a broadcast antenna, like a radio station, broadcasting out into the field, into the ethers, our intentions, our thoughts, our desires. And then these energies, these frequencies dance and interact with other frequencies and vibrations throughout the entire cosmos. They have no end, they have no limit. And in doing so, when our thoughts and vibrations dance with other thoughts and vibrations, they have influence on these thoughts and vibrations. We can actually influence our reality through our thoughts. And if people, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Our thoughts have vibrational properties to them that influence reality. And I think what scares a lot of people is that's a lot of stuff, man. You're telling me that my thoughts can manifest my own reality? Yeah. That's going to scare the daylights out of most people because that's a lot of responsibility. So wake up to the fact that we are co-creators of our own life. We are architects of our own journey, and that power is within us. And today we're going to talk about how to harness that power. It's all the more we believe in our ability to manifest our own reality, the more likely it's going to occur because it all has to do with belief. Everything on this planet has to do with belief. And the more we believe in these principles, the more
mhm.
likely it is it's going to happen. So this is going to be a good conversation tonight, Ella.
Okie dokie. Who wants to go next on the power of believing?
Raji does.
Alrighty.
Okay, Raji, there we
I'll
go.
get you, Dr. Bobby. Hi, everybody. So, this is a powerful topic. It really is. And, you know, when you realize that, and I'm speaking for myself, when I realized that I do have the power to use the universal law in a way that is to my benefit, that was like scary, but it was also empowering at the same time. Because, yes, it is a lot of responsibility. Typically, when something goes wrong, a lot of people want to blame, like, oh, well, it's because of, my mother, the way she raised me, or what my father did to me, or, and et cetera, a bunch of reasons why things aren't going the way things you would like things to go in your life. And so we can do that. And we're basically using the law of attraction by default, which means that you're just kind of like going along in life and not really living life in an optimal way, like, the best way you could possibly do it. And so when I started to get more connected to that, I saw a lot of things change in my life. Just like from like the way people reacted to me when I went out into public, to my own personal health, etc. There's so many different areas that I saw things change in a positive way. And I do, Jimmy talked about the frequencies that we let off. And it's like, radio waves. And if you are trying to achieve something, manifest something that's on 105.9 FM, and your frequency is on 104 AM, you're not going to attract it. Like, in other words, your frequency and your vibration has to match the thing that you desire for it to really be able to truly manifest into your life. And so there's many ways we can do that. One of the things that I've started practicing is that you might not believe a particular thing, like you want to achieve a certain thing, and really deep down, you don't believe that you can do it. But what I find powerful is pick out things that might be similar to the thing that you're wanting to accomplish, things that have already manifested for you. And you can kind of start to wrap your mind around, well, if that happens for me, then this possibly can happen to me for me. Or think more in general, like you get up in the morning and you're able to look out the window and just appreciate the beautiful day. And you go to the sink and you put on the faucet and you're able to be grateful for the water that comes out. Those things help to raise your vibration. They help to put your frequency on a higher level. And so when that happens, you will see how things will start to unfold in such a magical, mystical way for your life. And it just gives you more affirmation, and then you continue to do it. And practice makes perfect. I'm sitting here and I'm sharing this information with you. I'm not perfect. There's times where I have to remind myself of like the tools that I can use, and how we can truly create our reality. And this is a good example. My sister and I, we grew up in the same household, the same parents, mother and father, and we grew up together in this same household and experienced a lot of the same things, but it affected us differently. And we perceived it differently. And our lives are very different. She has a totally different personality than me. And so what I'm trying to say is that that to me correlates to we can be experiencing something, things can be hard, the economy, oh my God, these people are so hateful. You can sit around and complain about the way of the politics. You don't like the particular people in office. uh, all sorts of things we can complain about.
Mhm.
However, you can look at these things in different ways. Like, look at them from a positive perspective and find ways to make a situation that isn't necessarily supposed to be good for you good. COVID is another example. Do you know how many people started businesses during COVID?
Yeah.
Okay, we were stuck at home. A lot of people were sick. Unfortunately, a lot of people died, but there were a lot of people that took advantage of that time of being home and deciding to start their own business. So that's another example of being able to use a situation or circumstances that aren't so good for your benefit. It's like the lotus flower in the swamp. It's in a swampy surrounding, but it's so beautiful. Ella?
You're right about COVID. I actually wrote 2 books during COVID, so I know what I did.
Wow.
I published them during COVID. Anyway, Dr. Bobby, your turn.
Oh. Well, I was really looking forward to this topic because it's something I haven't mastered to my satisfaction. Let me put it that way. I think I've got a little bit of it. Um, but picking up on what Raji said is about raising your frequencies and your vibrations. I have noticed that being grateful and really being assertive and intentional about gratitude had that effect on me. Because the opposite of gratitude is focusing on what you don't have. And if that's all you see, what you don't have, then you'll never have enough because that's what you're focused on. But if you focus on what you do have and what you can do, and it's like, uh, it's a difference between, there's a stranger and uh, they can be a stranger, they can become my next new friend. Or, here's some groceries and I can produce this great meal. Or here's an apartment I could move into. I can turn it into a beautiful home with just making do with what I have. And so gratitude allows you to see things and get energized about things and to take advantage of what you do have going. And it attracts more things into your life to be grateful for. So that's been a real helpful thing to me. I, I wanted to be sure to mention too the importance of mental health. I was talking with a dear friend yesterday who is in really bad shape, wanted to leave the country and all this stuff, and just was going through this laundry list of ailments. It's like, well, I'm a veteran. I've got PTSD. I've got type 2 diabetes. I've got ADHD. I'm just eaten up with anxiety, and I'm introverted, and they're giving me all these reasons why they are isolated and have no friends, no family, and there's nothing going on. And I just felt it just broke my heart because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are in a similar situation. It's like, oh, no, that stuff that you all are talking about, it just won't work for me because I've got this bad thing going, this bad thing going, this bad thing going, and and uh, and again, that's just an example of focusing on what you don't have, uh, because they live in a great state that has very good laws and protections. They have pension. They have a lot of things to be grateful for. They're able to travel. They've got a partner, and so you know, I had to help them see that. But the part I wanted to mention is there's a role for mental health professionals. And if you're somebody that just thinks we're just full of crap, and no, that won't work for me because I've got this bad thing going, this bad thing. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's okay to need professional help, and please get some, because that even that starts to raise your level of vibration. It's like when somebody decides to go to AA, you know, they have hit bottom. Their life is a mess, and and they take one step and go to an AA meeting, and their life is still a mess when they leave that first AA meeting. But for one reason, they got a spark of hope, enough that they're going to come back,
Yeah.
and they keep coming back. And they went a whole day sober. And you know, it's just little things like that, taking baby steps and making some decisions to move forward. And I and turning them into a challenge too. That's another thing that's really helped me. Uh, I remember uh, once I saw some scholarship opportunities, and I was saying, oh my gosh, I think I could get a doctorate. I think I could go to school. And I asked my boss at the time to write me a recommendation, and it was an awful. No, I don't think she's got the stamina or the endurance or the
Oh my
perseverance.
God.
It's like, no, I don't think it is. And it was, you just watch, you just
Yeah, yeah.
watch. It's like, you turn that stuff into a challenge, but I've just really learned there's some things that have helped me raise my vibration, and gratitude is the first thing I've learned. And then looking at things like a challenge and challenging myself to uh, to push myself a little harder. It's like I could see a way to do it, and I struggle with that because um, I still I want to get fearful. Oh, people are going to criticize me. It's like I'm not going to be able to convince everybody, uh, and I'm not sure if I can convince most of the people. But then it's all of this stuff. It's like fear and paralyzing me. But it's like, gummit, quit telling myself all this stuff, and start vibrating at a higher level. Start believing I've got something to say. I can present it. I can work on it and revise it and get some editors and talk to my friends and polish it up, and I can really come up with some good work. But I'm still learning this the hard way, and that's why I'm so grateful to be with you all, because I think each one of you has learned some very important lessons in all of these, uh, and that's another thing. Get yourself friends like Ella and Jimmy and Rashi, because they having friends that are vibrating at a higher level helps you to get into that too. And so that's the other thing. Quit isolating and go out and meet people, and and they will encourage you and inspire you. And I'm really grateful for the three of you, and I was really looking forward to this topic because it's like, oh, I'm going to learn something tonight. So back to you, Ella.
Okay. Oh my God. I really enjoyed to be with you guys too, because it's so incredible. We have got always a little bit of different views about the world, but really important. And we've got very similar things, basic things. So choosing one's reality, oh my God, that is, for me, has been my life. I always chose. Is it easy? No. Is it difficult? No. It is the way it is. It's to stay positive for me. And I had to learn it probably the not so easy way. I have to tell you, when I was very young, I was a rebel because, first of all, I knew that I was transgender and I lived in an environment where I was not accepted.
Mhm.
And I start to be a very rebellious person, probably a little bit negative. And then there's something happened in my life which threw me completely out of everything, which was I was put in a place where I could not understand anybody in a boarding school, which I could not understand anybody. And I had to learn my way in a completely new environment. And this environment had two incredible things. There was no common religion and no common nationality.
Hmm.
Everybody was from different backgrounds. I had quite a lot of difficulties in the beginning because, first of all, I could not understand the people I was with. I felt very, very alone. And second one, I could not only not understand them from talking, but as well from the way they behaved. It took me probably about 4 or 5 months until I got really up to it. But in the beginning, I was very lonely. But already then, I chose not to take the negative way, but to open my heart to the other people and try to see, you know what? I probably don't have all the truth. I probably have to understand what the other people mean until I go further. So instead of, putting my head down and say, I don't want to follow this, I did the opposite. I opened my heart to what the environment told me. And I tell you one thing, it was the best lesson in the world. And I still have it today. After that, I ruled all my life with one very important thought. I am the master of my person. Doesn't matter what the environment is. I've believed in many countries and I've seen many countries, and everybody asks me, what is the best country in the world? And I always have the same answer. There is no best country in the world because the best country in the world, it's in your heart. And it doesn't make any difference where you are. In every single place in the world, there's pros and cons. If you look at the pros, you probably will forget the cons. And it is really true. The world is at your feet. But the way you look at it, you paint it. That's the way you paint your world. It's the way you look at it. If you look at it in black, it's black. If you look at it in white, it's white. If you add some blue colors and pink colors, yes. And that's what you have to follow. That's what I've always followed all my life. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at, but I understood that throughout my life, I could shape my world. And it doesn't make any difference if you're in sunny Florida or if you're in cold Alaska. It doesn't make any difference. They are good things. Hey, come on, have a nice snow fight. Beautiful. Have a beautiful day at the beach. Fantastic. You know, there's a place, a time, an inspiration for everything. So this was a little bit my reality. And with those words, I open to everybody to comment, please.
No, I like what I'm hearing. Uh, there are okay. So Raji was being specific about tuning into a specific radio station.
Mm,
So as many radio stations as there are on the way on the broadcast on the AM FM channel, there's that many and more realities occurring at the same time. Just like all those radio stations are all broadcasting at the same time. They're on different frequencies. You change your radio station, you're going to get another frequency. So same with our realities. There's multiple realities occurring at the same time on the planet. You dial into the one that you want to participate in. But that frequency, this is another important thing that Raji was getting to, that in order to receive that frequency, we have to match it ourselves.
Yeah.
So that vibrational state of the reality that we desire is broadcasting at X. We have to vibrate at that same frequency, X, in order to be receptive of that X. So Raji was talking about how do we do that? We have to vibrate at that same frequency. And we use our imagination that the result that we desire has already occurred. And then realize that feeling, experience that feeling of how you would feel as experiencing that reality. And then feel it, even if it's in your imagination. And then you'll attract that reality and whammo, it'll happen.
Mm.
And I know we're going to have closing thoughts in a minute, but I want to send it back to you, Ella.
Next one.
So for me, you know the saying, make lemonade out of lemons. I always say make lemon meringue pie out of lemons. And you know, really, there's another saying, life is what you make it. So we're living life, and along the way, maybe something happens to you that's not so good, or considered not so good, or something that you didn't want happens. And for me, you know, it's happened quite a few times in my journey. One of the worst times was my face when I had my black market injections to feminize myself. I looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful when it was first done. And a year and a half later, I had a horrible reaction in my face. And I was walking around for a long time with a very disfigured face. Now, I could have given up. I could have been angry at the situation and the person that I went to have it done. I could have really hidden away from the world because life got very hard. I mean, you know, I always say it's hard enough being a multiracial transgender woman of color. Try being that with a disfigured face, you know, and the world is very visual. So I would be out and, you know, people would make nasty comments or give me like dirty looks. And, you know, I went through depression and agoraphobia and PTSD, all of that stuff. But the point I'm trying to make right now is that I had to find that mustard seed of faith or hope to continue on. And I didn't let that situation stop me. In fact, I used what happened to me to continue to do my activism. I went out and spoke about what, you know, my journey, and well, that was one of the things that I spoke about. I advocated against, you know, black market procedures, so I hopefully could help other people, educate them, and maybe even prevent other people from going through what I have been going through. And what ended up happening is a lot of wonderful opportunities. I even was able to get some corrective surgery on my face. I didn't know any of this was going to happen, but I just kept pressing on and I kept trying to make the best out of my situation. You know, that whole thing of like, you know, lemon meringue pie out of the lemons that I was giving. And what it did was it manifested a lot of wonderful opportunities. So that very thing that could have been my demise, instead, it was the very thing that led to many blessings. Ella.
Absolutely. I can understand it very well. Dr. Bobby?
Oh, gosh, so many things come to mind. You know, there's a lot learn in quantum physics right now, uh, and it's along the lines of what everyone's been talking about with like, and the radio frequencies were a great example. Uh, there are all of these available frequencies on the FM band and the AM band. I used to
Yeah.
work in radio, and they're all broadcasting at once. They're all out there, and you know, you can tune in to the one you want to, and it's like, can life and reality really be that way? A long
Yes.
time ago, I think I was in high school when I first heard it. It was, and I believe it's attributed to Buddha, but you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears,
Hmm.
and that just always challenged me. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to get ready because I'm so ready for that teacher to appear, and 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 I've pushed myself knowing that I'm going to get myself ready, and the person I need to help me get to the next step is going to appear. And it's just really amazing to me how that happens. Well, you all for once, it's like there was a time in my life where I never heard of any of you, and now you know we're
Yeah.
getting together every week, and you are teachers, and I really do learn a lot, and it helps me, and so um, I uh, I think about the practical applications a whole lot because uh, it's too easy to get caught up in theory, especially when we're talking about creating our own reality and things like that. And so the practical things that we can do to kind of help us along the way, and I've said it before. One of my favorite sayings is 5 years from now, your life will be exactly the same as it is today, except
Hmm.
for two things, and that's the books you read and the people you meet. And uh, and it's like that's about as simple as you can get. If you want to know how to have a better life, start reading better books and meeting better people. Uh, and it's as simple as that. And so I think I talked about it last week. I do that every day. I go out expecting to meet all kinds of people and have and be engaged in conversations. Now it drives some people nuts. It's like they'd rather not be with them because it, you know, it gets them all anxious and all this. You're just talking to strangers, but I love just being out and talking to people and meeting the people, and and I get these invitations to come to meetings and all of these things, and I try to say yes as much as possible. So uh, if if you're looking to change your reality, the two specifics, the two practical steps are um, read some better books and meet some better people, and that will that really inspire you. And then the other thing I think about is we're talking mostly to an audience of transgender people, and my goodness, have you already broken free of a whole lot of realities? It's like, oh my gosh, you know. Uh, when I think about the reality I used to be living in, there's no comparison. And my only regret is that I wish I had done it sooner. And so it's like if you're watching this, you have already taken some giant steps in changing your reality. But then sometimes it's like the the toughness of it all. Like you said, it's not easy, and then you said it's not difficult. I don't know what to think. Wait a minute. But it is like that. It was difficult to come
Mhm.
out. It was t difficult. And but then, you know, you start getting this pushback and things like that. And a lot of people kind of get stuck in a bad spot instead of saying, why am I listening to them? It's like they've been trying to get me to conform to something I could never be. And so I have got to go out here and I have got to create my own reality. I have got to do the things I've always imagined and I've always done, and look for the things that really inspire me. So it's like all of us have already taken some huge steps in that direction just by coming out. We have changed our reality in a huge way, and 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 it's how to keep that going. That's a trick, and that's why I'm so grateful for you all because um, I know that we're all going to keep getting ready, and the teacher's going to appear, and our realities are going to keep getting better. And sometimes I don't know if I'll be able to stand it if things get a whole lot better. I'm looking forward to it anyhow. So back to you, Ella.
Yeah, I know I totally agree with you. The idea of tuning yourself to what you wish and tuning yourself to your environment is probably one of the most important things in life. I really, I really, I really understand and I appreciate that. And
Mhm.
to tell you the truth, it has been I think it was the very old forbidden what do you call that? Forbidden knowledge. That was the ground of for some of the old forbidden knowledges was you can be what you want to be, just go ahead and do it and tune in to what you expect to be and what you want to have. So, but this is I mean, this is some of of the stuff that I thought I would learn. And there are many religions actually which believe in these total way of being, But choosing your reality is a very important point, um, and sometimes you have to have that shield, which actually stops from outside stupid and negative um, vibrations to come into your life. And with those words, let's make the final round because I think that we are more or less finished. So, Jimmy, you go ahead first.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just going to summarize what we're talking about with Oriental Confucius phrase. Those those who believe they can and those that believe they can't are both right. Ella.
Um,
Absolutely. Bobby.
Oh, I think just so everybody knows, we are doing this podcast the week before Christmas, the end of December, when everybody is making their New Year's resolutions and looking back on the year that just passed, and we're getting ready to go head into the winter solstice and this long period of being closed in and incubating on some stuff. And I would just like to suggest that in December 2025, we kind of come back and revisit the things we were talking about tonight and see how much our reality has changed between now and next December. How about that?
Raji.
Sure. Okay, so real quick, to just give an example, if you're trying to get your vibrations to a certain vibration, a certain level or frequency, and you just can't wrap your mind around this thing that you want, this is the example. Say
Mhm.
you want a certain position, job, or opportunity, and you don't really believe deep down inside that you can get it. What you can do is you can think about all the other times in your life that you did want something and you were able to get it. And that will help to bring you into the vibration so that you can truly get to believe that this thing you want, this
Mhm.
job or opportunity you want, is possible. So if you don't believe that particular thing, think of other examples close to it that it did manifest for you, and that will help you to get into the belief of it. And that can be used for all things, all relationships, all sorts of things, money, et cetera, et cetera. So in closing, for me, there's over 8 point something billion people on the planet. That means there's over 8 point something billion realities on this planet. Make
Yes.
your reality the best that you want, the best of what you want. Make it yours.
Absolutely, yeah. And never forget something. You can only move a mountain one stone at a time. But if you don't start, you'll never do it. Okay, with those words, bye everybody. We'll come next week again. Bye everybody. Have a
Happy holidays!
Namaste. Namaste.
We'll talk before
Love,
Christmas.
peace, and
Have a great
blessings.
Christmas season's greetings, and thank you for watching Transgurus.